But first, tonight there are protests in Michigan and beyond over the shooting of Patrick Lyoyan, an unarmed black man who fought with a Grand Rapids police officer and ended up being shot and killed. The investigation is ongoing. But beyond this case, it has led so many in the media to once again link policing to racism. Many suggesting that this is just a continuing trend, and the gospel among many activists and much of the mainstream media is that police regularly shoot and kill a disproportionately high number of unarmed black men every year. This is a critically important issue, and sadly, rather than engaging in sober analysis with actual facts and data, many just draw conclusions based on isolated incidents, which is why I spent significant time researching the issue and want to focus on that tonight. The most complete analysis that I found of the issue was an in-depth report called Fatal Police Shootings and Race, a review of the evidence and suggestions for future research, done by the Manhattan Institute last month, which has gotten almost no media attention. Yes, the Manhattan Institute is a conservative think tank, but it was striking to me how balanced, measured, and data-based the evaluation was. It concluded that it is possible that there is racism when it comes to numbers of civilians shot and killed by police, but that it's nowhere near as clear as the mainstream media would have you believe. Let's start with this. If I was to ask you what percentage of police shootings each year involved unarmed black men, what would you say? Most people I talk to guess between 20 and 60%. The actual number is about 2%. On-duty police fatally shoot about 1,000 people every year. This number and its racial breakdown have remained surprisingly consistent since 2015, when the Washington Post began tracking the numbers. Roughly 25% of those killed have been black. Considering that about 13% of the population is black, that's almost double the representation of blacks in the overall population. But, and this is a critical point, as stated in the report, quote, it is in line with and sometimes below many other benchmarks that one might use for comparison, such as the racial breakdowns of arrests, murders, and violent crime offenders as reported by victims in surveys. So that would seem to mean that there's no proof of a racial bias in police shootings. But the report also points out that blacks are an even higher percentage of unarmed civilians shot and killed by police, 34%, which is a potential sign of bias. However, not all shootings of unarmed civilians are unjustified, and it's difficult to objectively classify these cases in a more granular fashion. And contrary to the public perceptions outlined above, confirmed fatal police shootings of unarmed African Americans number about 22 per year. That is 22 total, justified or not. The report goes on, quote, existing studies are divided on the bias question. Many papers fail to find bias in lethal force, though one of the most careful studies in the literature of an unnamed city with a high murder rate does find that white cops discharge their guns several times as often as black cops when sent to 911 calls in heavily black neighborhoods. So, real questions with real data, and not just presumptions about police based on press conferences or a media using limited information. Joining me now is the author of the report and a fellow at the Manhattan Institute, Robert Verbruggen. Robert, thank you for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so bottom line, from a 10,000-foot view, what does the data tell you about racism and police shootings?
To me, the main takeaway that I've had from reading a lot of this work, following this issue for years, is simply that it's more complicated and more nuanced than a lot of people think. And no matter what preconceived notions you come in with, the data are bound to disappoint you and surprise you and challenge you in a lot of ways. I think you did a good job of hitting a lot of the highlights in your intro. There are some signs that there is bias, especially in certain places. There was that very compelling study based on which 911 calls black and white officers are sent to. It's certainly a problem for that city, which again is unnamed in the study. that they have such a big racial gap in which police officers are using force. But at the same time, when you look at the big picture and you look at all the police shootings there are, the racial disparity in police shootings seems to reflect a lot of other racial disparities in our society, rather than being something that's conjured into being just by police officers.
What do you think that the public and the media get wrong most about all of this?
Well, I think there's misconceptions on both the left and the right. And the misconception on the left, I think, goes to what you hinted at in the question that you asked your audience, which is that on the left, there's a very common perception that police shootings of unarmed Black men are just extremely common. There are surveys showing that substantial numbers of the public believe that there are 1,000 unarmed Black men shot every year. And I think that's very damaging because it short circuits a lot of the debate on this question. On the other hand, though, I think some of my friends on the right are a little too eager sometimes to chalk the entire thing up to differences in crime rates. Differences in crime rates are real. They're important. They're a part of this issue. This is something that we need to discuss. But we also have a lot of racial divisions in our society. And I don't think we can just reject out of hand the idea that sometimes police are biased and they use force against Black people in situations where they wouldn't use force.
Why do you think it's been so hard for people to actually use data and focus on studies? I mean, it seems like on so many other issues, the media in particular is quite willing, right, to look at the totality of the studies and put them in perspective, et cetera. And it often seems that in the context of this discussion, that becomes very difficult.
Well, I think there are two reasons. First of all, this issue really came to the fore around Ferguson. And at that point, we actually didn't have very good data. The government was not collecting data on police shootings. That was in any way comprehensive. You could not go online and find an actual tally of how many people were being killed at police. So it's very hard to have a database discussion. Data. And the other reason, even as more data has become available and we've gotten much better studies, I think that race in America is just an extremely polarizing issue, and policing in America is an extremely polarizing issue. And you put the two together and you have a recipe for people yelling at each other instead of taking a breath and trying to figure out what's actually going on so you can fix what there are.
You know, one of the things that I found so striking about your report is that it's one of the only places that I've found that has actually gone in and looked at all of the studies that are out there and said, okay, here are, all of the different kinds of people who've gone about investigating this. Here's what they found. Here's what they found. This is why this study is important. This is why that study is important. But the fact that, and again, I don't mean this in any way to diminish your report, because I found it to be incredibly comprehensive. But the fact that almost no one in the mainstream media has picked up on it and talked about your report, evaluated your report, to me tells me that there are a lot of people out there who don't want to actually think about this from an objective data point of view, and they just want to go with a particular narrative.
Yeah, I think that's partly right. I think it's a lot of times it's easy to dismiss something if no other media outlet has covered it, then your media outlet doesn't have to cover it. So maybe you'll be the coverage that breaks the dam on that front. But yeah, it's been interesting to see the reaction to the report be so muted when it's such an incendiary topic and one that's in the news.
All right, Robert Verbruggen, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'd highly recommend anyone who cares about this issue to go read this Manhattan Institute report. It is comprehensive. It is balanced. It is nuanced, and it will make you think. And then you can decide for yourself. You can dig in to some of the studies that they cite. You can go look at the studies for yourself to say which ones you think should be more important or less important. But I think this is really important work. I'm sorry it hasn't gotten more attention. I hope that this will help, because it certainly was an eye-opener for me. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.